What's up, my people? Yeah, so I'm back again. I'm here to share with you what I'm looking at for the upcoming trading week on Euro USD and then GBP USD. Okay, you might want to stick to the end of this video because, in as much as I'll be breaking down price action, I will also be making an important announcement, which I'm pretty much sure that you'll be interested in. Okay, so just stick to the end so that you don't miss out on this very special and important announcement that I have to make. Okay, and also if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications so that you don't miss out on this valuable information that I give out for free on my channel. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's step onto the chat and let's see what we'll be looking out for next week. All right, so welcome back. As you know, I always start from the higher time frame. Okay, but I'm just gonna keep things simple because I don't want to waste time doing a whole lot of stuff. All right, so we already know we are bearish on higher time frame. Daily we are bearish. Okay, H4 as well, we are bearish. Simple. So if you watch in here, this is my last high. Okay, this is my last high over here on Euro USD, and this is my last low. I'm playing inside this guy. Okay, now I think some time ago I was looking at this point of interest over here. If you watch here closely, we didn't tap into this guy. We didn't tap into this guy, and so as we are coming back, we are likely to tap into this guy. All right, sometimes I don't know actually, but we can even have a scenario where price will just take out this guy and then drop, but I can't confirm that yet. Okay, all what I know is that we are likely to tap into this guy like a complex pullback. So what I mean is, like, we do low, okay, complex pullback into this guy, and then if price decides to continue to the downside, fine. But if we decide to break as well, I know what to look out for. Okay, so the most important thing is that we have defined this high that created a low after the break of structure, and there is a beautiful point of interest sitting there, okay, which we didn't tap in before. We are now coming in there. So in here, the only thing I'm sure of is this high should be taken out. Okay, that's the only thing I'm sure of right now, as at now, on this particular time frame, that this high should be taken out into this point of interest. Okay, but as to whether we are going to break this one, I don't know. I don't know whether we are going to break this one. All will depend on what the intraday is going to say. Okay, all right, so let me talk about this real quick, about the special announcement that I spoke about from the beginning of this video. So I'm going to hold a new bootcamp in August. Okay, and this bootcamp, I do it like twice in a year. The first one I do it in December, January, and then the second one I do it like June. Okay, this year I didn't want to do anything like that, but I've had so many requests where people just come, bro, I want to learn from you, but I don't have the money to afford your mentorship, blah blah blah. So there's an opportunity for you. Okay, instead of paying the full fees, you're just going to be paying like half of it, which is like $250, and I'm going to teach you every single thing that I do. Okay, when I'm on the chat, you're gonna have access to me. All right, and then you're also gonna have access to my private Discord, where you see me share setups. You can engage and interact with other wonderful people in there. Okay, so try as much as possible to take advantage of this, because this one that I am giving it to you right now, I don't know when the next one is going to come. Okay, nowadays I feel very reluctant in doing this kind of stuff, but then just to help those who don't have the full fees, you can just take advantage of this one. All right, so you have from now to like 10th August to register and book a slot for this event. Trust me, it's going to be very, very massive, because I'll be showing you like some beautiful stuff that you have not seen before. Trust me, you have not seen before. I bet that you have not seen before. So try as much as possible to take advantage of this discounted offer that I am offering you guys. Okay, all right, so welcome back. So once I've done this, I can now look out for what price will do on lower time frame. So let's go to like H4 first. On H4, you can see this was the last high that created a low that I was looking at. This guy has been broken nicely. Okay, so we are not bearish on that again. On that internal move, we've broken, and just like I said, I'll be expecting price to take out this guy over here, most likely, I mean, we are most likely going to take it out. So maybe we can get a little reaction, okay, before we take out. It can happen like that. The reason why I'm saying that is this point of interest over here was my last point of interest, okay, but it has been broken, and so it leaves this guy over here as a reactive zone. And because we are dealing with like a higher time frame, we can have a reaction, okay, like this before we continue. And if you are part of my private group, you understand that sometimes reactive zones does not necessarily need to like be respected and give you a move. Sometimes it can take it out, okay, and still give you a move. Okay, that's why I was expecting price to take out this high ideally. Okay, so that is what you should know. Then after this one, we can just look at what internal structure is saying. You don't necessarily need to step into like lower time frames. You can see it from there. This one broke structure to the downside with a wick, push to the top, retrace, push to the top, retrace, push to the top. So we can just go ahead and then boom. Okay, so standing right in here, I can define my internal structures as, let me step onto H1 and let me see something. I want to see the details. Okay, I'm going to use this low over here as my last low, and I'm going to use this high as my potential last high. Okay, the reason I'm using the word potential is that I don't know whether this high will hold or break. That's why I'm using potential. So if we wake up Monday morning and then we have done Asia broken, it's also fine. That'll be my potential high, and even that one would be very beautiful for me because we've taken out liquidity and tap into this point of interest proper. Okay, but currently whatever I'm seeing is this low, that high. Again, once I spot this low, this high, I go in there to check on what the internal structure is saying. As simple as that. So in here I can step onto M15. What do I have? This is my intraday setup. Okay, last low that created a high. What can we see? A break of structure. Simple. Okay, point of interest is sitting right here like this as your demand. Okay, within this leg you can define your internals as well. Okay, we have a push to the top, fake out, okay, news, and then a high. All right, so we can do this here as my last point. What it means is that if we don't break this low, we will not come here. We will not come into this point of interest. That's how simple it is. So for instance, if let's say the market opens on Sunday, Monday, and then we have Asia, let's say building up nicely like this, okay, go up to take out this liquidity, and we get a sell, I can take this sell, but my last stop will be here. I can't tell whether this POI will break or not, so I need to react, right? So when I get a sell from here, I can drop to the downside. These are the scenarios I'm giving you. So this low, this is my main intraday low that created my potential intraday high. This has created like equal highs, so most likely we're going to take it out and then take out this one as well and then drop. Okay, but when we are dropping down, I'm going to watch this area over here, okay, because we can have price reacting from here and then continuing the move. Okay, but when we break this guy, I'm certain that we're going to come here. Okay, the same way, if we don't break this guy, we're not going down there. All right, let's say price goes ahead to make a break like this, breaks this one, and then comes here. If we don't take out this low, if you watch, if you go to like H4, you're gonna see this. You realize that we will have something like a low that created like a potential high over here. If we don't break this last one, there is no way that we're gonna come down. No way. All right, so that's what I mean by that. Okay, so first scenario is that we can have price pushing up, taking out this high Sunday, Monday, then we can look for counter trends. But when we take the counter trend, we want to make sure that we are looking at what the internal structure is saying. And so this is going to be like my last low to look at whether price is going to hold or not. Okay, if we hold in here, we can get a push to the top, probably like on Tuesday or Wednesday before maybe the real move will happen. It can happen like that. Sometimes we may not necessarily need to like come down. We can just continue to the top like that and even go ahead and break that last point of interest on H4 as well, because I said it was a reactive zone. Okay, so we can just have price coming all the way to the downside and then pushing all the way to the top to go and break that point of interest. Okay, so that's the first scenario. Second scenario is, let me clear all this stuff. Second scenario is that we may not necessarily take out this guy. We can have a situation where price will move down. If this momentum is respected, it can just go ahead and do that, or better still, tap into this guy, okay, and then go ahead and do that. You understand? Then before we can come down, whether we will break this or not. Another thing that can also happen is that we can just come and break this guy. Once we break this guy over here will become a point of interest. But if you watch this point of interest, it looks like relatively equal highs. So what can you expect? We can have a situation where price will just pull up, clear the equal highs, tap into the point of interest, and then we will see whether price will drop a little bit or not. So all what you need to do is just have your eyes on this low, this high, and see what price does. This is also important, the one from H4, okay, that is also important. So just pay attention to what price should do, whether we're going to trickle a little bit up, take this guy out, then we can look for a counter into certain levels. If this guy decides to hold, we're going to pull up, okay. That's how simple it is, okay. If we break this last low, you know that we are coming down a little, but after the break we can get like a counter trend or something like that, okay, before. So that is how simple it is. My view on EU, nothing to worry about, simple. Now let's look at GBP USD. GBP USD, we have a low, higher time frame, okay, daily. We have a low that created a high, that is break. There is a fake out here, okay. So we have another low that created this high. So this high over here is a target liquidity that price is supposed to take out. You understand? That is why I was saying that EU can take out the high, because if I look at, let me go to like daily and let me show you the distance. If I look at the distance between here and this guy, and I look at the distance between here on GU, if this guy would take this out, then we are likely to break this guy as well. We are most likely going to do that. I don't really know, but let's see. Sometimes you'll be just coming deeper before we just drop. It can happen like that. But anyway, that's just for EU. So GU, this is a target liquidity, okay. This is a low that created a high. This is a target liquidity. There's a point of interest here. That is where price tapped into and we are moving, okay. So once I've seen this, I can just go ahead and define what my internal structures are doing. All right, in here we had like an internal break or structure to the downside, which looks like this is a point of interest. So like price can come in there and then make a complex pullback before pushing to the top or whatsoever. But come on, this is like a very long time to take a very long time. So I'll just pay attention. The only thing I know for sure is that this guy over here is a target liquidity that should be taken out. As to whether it's going to be a point of interest that should react to the downside, it wouldn't be favorable to me. Why? Because price is coming from like a higher time frame point of interest. So ideally we should take this out. That's the ideal thing that you should do. Then right after that, we can move on to define what the internal structures are saying, whether we want to come here or we want to come down. The internal structures are going to tell us. So right in here, what do we have? This guy broke structure. So this is a low, that is our potential high. Why potential? Because we don't know whether we are done or not, okay. So high, low, broken. This is my new low, this is my new high. I'm going to focus in there, okay. Low, potential high, simple, okay. Then we can step onto lower time frames and see what the internal structure is doing. So if you step onto lower time frames, you can see for sure that this is your last low in there that created a high. Simple. Why? We have broken structure again over here internally, okay. So we can now look at what the internal structure is doing. Super simple. You don't need to stress. If you're watching here, what can you see? We have a low that created a high, a low that created a potential high. So again, focus has shifted to this low, this high. You see what I'm doing? I'm just trying to break down all this voluminous price action into like a small piece where I can work. That's all. That's what I'm doing, okay. That's how simple multi-time frame analysis should be, okay. So right in here, once I've done this, I can step onto like intraday and see what is happening in there. So maybe H1 or M15, wherever you want to go to, that's fine. But on H1, you can see it's clear, okay. We have this high was taken out there. Let me use a trend line so that you see how accurate this is. We have this high that got taken out here. Okay, consider we had like that one black candle. Like I said, you don't always need like a deeper pullback to confirm a structural point. No. So this is a low that created a high, this is a low that created a high, and this is my last low that has created this potential high. That's all. So what does it mean? It means that I'm going to ignore everything over here and focus again on this low and this potential high. Simple. So what do we have here? Beautiful break of structure. After every break of structure, there is a point of interest. That's my point of interest over there. Only thing left for us is let us see if price is going to come here. So maybe we can step lower. What do we have? Is it that it has similar scenario as EU? This is the last point of internal structure. Okay, last point within the internal structure. What it means again is that if we don't break this guy, we will not come here. That's all. Okay, so in here, this is just beautiful. It means that EU will take out this high for sure. Okay, so if you're watching here, liquidity built like this. So what can we expect? Maybe an inducement of the top. Then we can now start coming down. Okay, and just like EU, when we are coming down, watch. Okay, pay attention to these areas. But then the first thing for sure is that if we break this high like this, we can start looking for a counter trend into this. When this guy fails to hold, then we are definitely going to break into this. Okay, when we tap into this, we can look for a trade. Okay, and then even if we break this low, we can also get a trade. That is how simple it is. Okay, so yeah, that is my view on EU and GU. We are bullish on the intraday. I'm only expecting to capitalize on the counter trend. Okay, after grabbing liquidity to the top. The same thing with Euro USD. We are bearish on the higher time frames, but intraday we are bullish. And I just want to see this liquidity from 4th June, right? That's like previous month's high taken out. Then we can get a pullback a little. If price decides to continue the flow to the downside, I'll be happy. Okay, because now we would have tapped into this supply proper, and then we will just align. You see daily broke structure to the downside. This is the daily break, sorry. Weekly is bullish, okay, like this, but daily is bearish. So maybe the daily can do like a complex pullback as well. Okay, you see what is happening here? We can have the same thing happening on the weekly time frame. Like this is the daily low, daily high that created a daily low pullback. We can expect a complex pullback like this before. That's the same thing that is happening here. We have a push like this. Okay, this complex pullback. Then we're going to see if we are going to drop to the downside. That is how simple everything is looking like. Okay, so yeah, I hope you found value in this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, leave a like and a comment in the comment section. I'll really appreciate that. I hope you have a good week, blessed one as well, with so much profit. Okay, I'll see you within the week with an insightful and wonderful, valuable video. Stay safe. Bye bye.